We're here with Bill Corbin in the town of Newburgh. Bill, tell us your impressions of tonight's meeting.
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm disappointed in the leadership of the town of Newburgh having not taken this opportunity to amend the agenda and allow the residents an opportunity to speak. I think that's the democratic process. That's really what they're elected to do, is hear the concerns of the constituents that they're elected to serve, and frankly, they failed miserably tonight. I was very disappointed that nobody on the council spoke up, not a one of them. And in addition, if I can expand on a question about leadership, 2005, the town enacted an updated comprehensive plan for the town of Newburgh. In that document is a to-do list item that addresses adult business zoning. It was left as an action item. In 2010, when this developer came forward, it was a perfect opportunity for them to take that action item, fold it in with this request from the developer, and try to address both issues at the same time and deal with issues concerning with residential proximity to adult businesses, schools, child care centers, etc. That was the opportunity to do this in a proactive fashion. That's leadership. Now, the residents are faced with needing to go hire an attorney, expend precious funds, and do things in a reactionary mode. And their probability of success in dealing with this and getting the right outcome for quality of life in that area of town, it's diminished. So it really is it's a bad news story, because that's what they're elected to do. They're elected to hear the people, and they're elected to improve the quality of life for the citizens. That's what their role is.
Their answer during my interviews was, well, where were all these people when it was going through the planning board a year and a half ago?
Okay, well, here's the concern. First of all, when it went through the ZBA in 2010, the original request to expand on the existing non-conforming use was denied. The ZBA denied the applicant's request. Had that stood, that building would not have gone in. They would have only been able to work within the envelope of the existing nondescript building. It's a very small building. The trees would have remained, separating the residential area from the business. It would have been a much different story. However, it appears, if you go and look at the e-court system, it appears that the owner filed an Article 78 against the town of Newburgh, and either through negotiation or through a judgment from the court, which I'm not sure which, but based upon what I assume, they reached some type of a conclusion. It then went back into the planning board, and in January, it was approved. So the question is, anybody who would have been at that ZBA meeting, for example, would have assumed that that non-conforming use was no longer on the table, because it was on record, and the only public record that states that that application to expand a non-conforming use, i.e. an adult business, was denied. So anything that happened subsequent to that, since if you go read the planning board minutes, doesn't really state that they're back at the table dealing with an adult business. Even so, nobody would assume that they were back at the board talking about an adult business.
Was that the issue of nonconformance? Was the adult nature of the business?
Correct. But if you look at the town's code, and I don't know the specific reference, but if you go look at the zoning board minutes of July, I think it's July 25th, 2010, they're on the town's website. That particular area, that section of the meeting, clearly results in a denial of an interpretation that would allow them under existing town code to expand that non-conforming use. It was denied. It
was my understanding that there is no specific ordinance for adult use at all.
That is correct.
So then it wouldn't be non-conforming, right?
It is not covered in the code, and because it's not covered in the code, it's non-conforming. It's allowed to exist. State law requires you to permit it to exist, but because it's not in the town code, it does, in my understanding, fall under the purview of the ZBA to interpret whether it's appropriate to put it into a particular area of town.
As it stands now, it looks like it's going in, right?
They've already extended or spent a significant amount of money and resources building this. They've done clearing and grading, I should say. I reviewed the building permit file on December 28th, and as of that date, there was an application on file dated October 25th. There was a list of punch list items, if you will, or to-do items that the developer had to meet. Things like a certified septic plan, fire suppression plan, and the like. And once those items were satisfied, then the town would issue a permit. I don't know whether in the meantime, since between December 28th and today, whether or not they've actually closed those items and issued a permit. It will be very, very difficult. I think everybody recognizes it will be very difficult to overturn this. But the residents are, in fact, they're going to fight this. They're going to take this on. They are working with an attorney, and clearly they're not going to take the town board saying there's nothing we can do. They're not accepting that answer. So they've been forced now, because of the inaction of the town board and the ZBA and the planning board, to really address this as an action item. Again, going back to the comprehensive plan, because of their failure to do that, the town residents now have to take it upon themselves to take legal action against the town. And so it's really a sad testimonial to what our town board is not doing for us. That's what they're elected to do.